Have you ever had a boss so arrogant, so utterly incompetent, that they made your life a living nightmare? Well, my boss thought he could steal my work, erase my hours, and make me look like a failure. But what he didn't know, was that I was about to deliver the most humiliating Christmas gift of his career. If you've ever dreamed of serving justice to someone who wronged you, smash that like button and subscribe, because today's story is one of the most satisfying lawyer revenge stories you'll ever hear. I still remember my first months at the law firm. The hours were brutal, 6 days a week, sometimes 12 hours a day. But the workload wasn't the hardest part. No, the real challenge was him. My so-called mentor. My boss. He had the perfect image of a rising star, glossy shoes that shined like mirrors, bespoke suits tailored within an inch of perfection, gold cufflinks, a watch that cost more than my car. To the partners, he looked like a future leader. To me, he looked like the devil in Armani. Because behind that polished surface, he was a fraud. He knew almost no law. He froze in court, his hands literally shaking just to schedule a trial date. And worst of all, he had no shame in stealing. He'd take my research memos, erase my name, delete my hours from the system, and claim the work as his own. Meanwhile, I'd get blamed for not hitting my billable quotas. Do you know what that feels like? To watch your own sweat and weekends vanish from the records. To hear partners mutter that you're not pulling your weight, when you're the one carrying the load. It was like being back in middle school, beaten up on the playground, showing the bruises to the principal, and being told, boys will be boys. Except now the bullies wore silk ties and had their names on the office door. The last straw came one morning when I handed him a detailed legal opinion, exactly what he'd asked for. I double-checked his memo just to be sure. He looked at it, sneered, and said, "This opinion is shit." No explanation. No corrections. Just dismissal. Then he walked off, probably already planning to slap his name on it and send it upstairs. That night, lying awake with anger burning in my chest, I realized something: I couldn't work harder. I was already drowning in hours. But I could work smarter. And if he thought he could keep humiliating me without consequences, he was about to find out just how wrong he was. Christmas was coming. The partners were going on vacation. And I had an idea, a dangerous one, but brilliant if it worked. See, my boss idolized the senior partner. He'd do anything to impress him. The senior partner, though, he was old school. Hated email. Hated computers. Everything he did was handwritten or typed on paper. So I decided to become him. I forged a memo, carefully, painstakingly, on the partner's letterhead. It looked exactly like the real deal, formatting, phrasing, even the little quirks he always included. And in this fake memo, a special urgent assignment in Admiralty law. Complex. Obscure. And utterly pointless. On December 24th, the perfect timing, my boss walked into his office to find it waiting. He read it, panicked at the urgency, and, true to form, passed it off to me. "This is a big deal," he said, smugly. "Cancel your holidays. Get it done." He thought he'd ruined my Christmas. But what he didn't know, was that I already had the answer. I'd written a paper in law school on almost the exact same topic. All I had to do was dust off an old floppy disk, tweak the draft, and voila, a monster research memo was born. Meanwhile, I enjoyed my holidays. I spent time with family. I checked in at the office a few times, sending little emails to show I was working. And I docketed over 100 hours for my so-called sacrifice. January rolled in. My boss strutted into the office like a peacock in gold cufflinks, ready to impress. He came straight to me, "Where's that memo? I need it for my meeting." I handed him a thick, freshly printed document, still warm from the printer. He smiled, holding it like it was his golden ticket. Then he marched off to the partner's office. Minutes later. Boom. The hallway erupted with shouting. Doors slammed. A furious voice thundered, "What the F*** is this?" It was the partner. Red-faced. Veins bulging. And he was waving my memo like it was toxic waste. My boss stammered excuses, but the partner wasn't buying it. He dragged him inside, unleashed a tirade so loud we could all hear it down the hall. Then suddenly, "Get in here too." It was my turn. Inside, the partner shoved the memo at me. "Did you write this garbage?" I flipped through the pages. Calm. Controlled. "Yes, sir. Though my name's been removed from the cover." I followed the assignment exactly as my boss instructed. I even spent my whole Christmas on it. The partner's face turned crimson. 100 hours on this? This is useless. Why the hell would anyone waste time on this? I shrugged, glancing at my boss. "I don't know, sir. You'd have to ask him." The silence was delicious. My boss looked like he might collapse into his $1,000 shoes. From that day forward, things changed. I was instructed to copy the partner directly on every memo I wrote, no more stolen credit. My docket stopped mysteriously disappearing. And a few weeks later, a belated Christmas bonus landed on my desk. As for my boss, he didn't get fired, but his golden boy reputation took a hit he never recovered from. The partners saw him differently. He wasn't the rising star anymore, he was the idiot who fell for the case of the forged memo. And that, my friends, is how I turned the tables. For once, the arrogant boss who stole from me, humiliated me, and tried to crush me, ended up humiliated himself. I didn't just get justice. I got validation. I got my hours. And I got the last laugh every time I thought back to that moment, the day my boss realized the junior he underestimated had outsmarted him completely. The lesson? Never underestimate the quiet ones. Especially the ones you think you can steal from. Sometimes the best revenge isn't loud, it's carefully planned, perfectly timed, and leaves your enemy destroying themselves.